Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, as the overseas voting kicks off, the Commission on Elections vows to investigate the alleged pre-shading of ballots in Singapore and Dubai. The poll body also warns against the release of unofficial exit poll results. Comelec Commissioner George Garcia joins us live. And later, thousands of families have been displaced due to agaton. Where is the government in terms of assisting affected residents? NDRRMC spokesperson Mark Timbal tells us more live. The Commission on Elections says reports of pre-shaded ballots during the rollout of overseas voting quote, merit an investigation. A Singapore-based voter revealed that she received a pre-shaded ballot. The poll body initially doubted the claims, but the Philippine Embassy in Singapore confirms the incident, but clarifies it's unintentional and an isolated case. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Comelec Commissioner George Garcia. Commissioner Garcia, welcome to the source. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning, Ma'am Pinky, and good morning to all the televiewers.
So let's first talk about that shaded ballot in Singapore. First, it was denied, right, by the Comelec, and then subsequently, the consulate, is it, or the embassy in Singapore had actually confirmed this. Please tell us what happened.
Yes, Ma'am Pinky, we received later in the afternoon yesterday a confirmation from our Singaporean post, the embassy of Singapore, of the Philippines in Singapore, saying that indeed a ballot was given to a voter, a Filipino voter, but this ballot was already considered as a spoiled ballot. So this is a very unfortunate incident. I was even asking yesterday if indeed it was only one ballot or several ballots, but at least the embassy confirmed that it involved only one ballot, Ma'am Pinky. And so, but then we should really investigate this incident. This should not happen again. But we should really find out why that this spoiled ballot was in the first place given to the voter. This should have been segregated, put in an envelope for spoiled ballot, and they should have been included in the good or valid ballots. So we are asking the reason why, and definitely we will be able to get that answer in the next few days.
Commissioner, what is a spoiled ballot?
A spoiled ballot is a ballot where it was returned by the voter simply because either the voter was able to tear it down or wet it, or something happened in the ballot, or it will no longer be accepted by the machine because of the fault of a voter. So in that case, the voter will not be given a substitute or alternative ballot, but it will be taken from him or her.
Let me cut you there, sir, so we understand this better. You're talking about a spoiled ballot that is caused by the voter.
Yes, ma'am.
We're talking about a spoiled ballot that was not caused by the voter.
Yeah,
right?
if the ballot is not caused by the voter to be spoiled, then we will be giving him or her a replacement ballot.
I see.
That is
I see. Okay, so she was given a replacement ballot. But my question is, why is there a spoiled ballot that did not come from the voter or was not caused by the voter? I guess to be direct, is there such a thing as a spoiled ballot that may be around, that may be present?
Definitely that is not possible. What really happened, Ma'am Pinky, was that really maybe the electoral board mixed the spoiled ballot, that single spoiled ballot, with the other good or valid ballots. But we would like to find out why. Why did that happen? It should have been included in the envelope for spoiled ballots. And at the same time, we'd like to ask likewise the question, even on the assumption that this is this was a spoiled ballot, why did not the electoral board able to see that there were already votes in that single ballot that is considered?
But my question still is, are there supposed to be spoiled ballots that are pre-shaded? Was there anything during the preparations, or just trying to understand this? that there were ballots that were supposedly pre-shaded?
That will not happen, ma'am. Definitely,
So
there
there's
is
no
no
such
such
thing.
there
There
is no
should
such
be.
thing.
There should be no such thing.
That's right. There's no such thing, and it's really well, as correctly pointed out by the embassy official. It's an incident which actually happened, yes, but there is no such thing as pre-shaded, pre-printed, pre-shaded ballots.
And would you still consider that a spoiled ballot? Is that still gonna fall under the category of spoiled ballot?
Yes, ma'am. If because as explained by the embassy official, and at this point, you are showing the statement. Yesterday, during our press conference, I was asking as a former practitioner if indeed that happened, that spoiled ballot, meaning used by a voter, pre-shaded by him but did not pass through the machine, was returned by the voter, and it was considered as a spoiled ballot, then the point is, if indeed that happened, it should have been included in the minutes of voting of that particular precinct. And we were assured that based on the officials of the embassy, that indeed such an incident was recorded in the minutes of the voting of that particular precinct. That is very, very important because the minutes of the voting reflects what happened during the entire day of voting.
Are you concerned that there was such a thing, sir?
Of course, the commissioner election, personally, I am so concerned because this thing should have not happened at all. Of course, a single incident like this can create a doubt as to the integrity of the entire process. But of course, this is human error. We realize that, but we are asking and we are pleading to our electoral boards that the same incident should not happen again in the future.
Is it an isolated case? Because isn't there another reported case in another area?
Yes, ma'am. Let me explain first that particular statement. First, there is only one ballot involved in Singapore, and there were not several ballots or 2 or 3 more ballots involved. So at least isa lang po. But there was an incident they were saying likewise that happened in Dubai, and we are still investigating. We are waiting for the official pronouncement of our embassy officials in Dubai that such a spoiled ballot likewise was given to a voter. But until today, there was no confirmation.
I see. So still under investigation, indeed, if that
That's right.
happened in
That's right.
Dubai. Have you been getting any more complaints about pre-shaded ballots?
As of this time, no complaints as to the pre-shading of ballots or pre-shaded ballots, because as I have said, that cannot happen. Definitely, no pre-printed ballots, no pre-shaded ballots will be present in our even during the election of May 9. That is an isolated incident. We receive other reports, but not necessarily on the so-called pre-shaded ballots.
But you know, Commissioner, one really gets to wonder, no? I mean, if I were to vote and I'm given a ballot that's already pre-shaded, of course that casts a doubt, right? For, against, whatever, sir. But the integrity of the elections for sure. But what theory would you have in mind? Because lahat naman po tayo pagbigyan ng balota, titingnan naman natin kung may shade o wala, hindi ho ba? So if
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
shaded, syempre magko-complain ka at obviously isusumbong niyo po ito. I mean, why can such a thing happen? I guess is my question, that a person is given a pre-shaded ballot.
Yes, ma'am. I fully agree with your statement na it can create a doubt as to the integrity of the entire process. That's the reason why we would like to go deeper into this incident. Number one. Number two, at this point, I would like to the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps really sobrang pagod yung mga electoral boards. I had witnessed several voting in the past. Talagang pagod na pagod sila or nalito na, naisama. But just the same, if that spoiled ballot really appeared or was the spoiled ballot in the previous day, and then therefore it should have been included already in the envelope. It should have been included in the valid ballot. So yung bagay na yan definitely will cast a doubt as to the integrity. But at least for the moment, there was a report, an official statement coming from the embassy that number one, this is an isolated incident. Number two, this was really included in the minutes of the voting. And number three, we are so lucky that the voter was able to complain and ask the electoral board, why is this ballot already pre-shaded?
Yeah, so it is an isolated case right now because just one incident in Singapore and the one in Dubai is still being investigated, but it really should go more into really the details on how this could have happened. But Commissioner, we need to take a
Yes.
very short break. We still need to talk about the overseas absentee voting in other parts, such as Hong Kong. We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. Watching The Source on CNN Philippines, our guest today, Comelec Commissioner George Garcia. Commissioner, welcome back, sir. Let's talk about still the overseas absentee voting that began last Sunday or 2 days ago. But there is still a number of areas, not a lot, but a number of areas where the voters couldn't actually cast their votes because of lack of election paraphernalia. There's one in New York. It happened in New York. I believe it also happened in Milan and Damascus. What happened here? Because I guess the point is, if our kababayans were made to believe that overseas absentee voting was to begin last Sunday, then a lot of them would have made it to the consulates or embassies. And then pagdating po nila doon, oops, I'm sorry, either we don't have the VCMs or we don't have the election paraphernalia.
Yes, ma'am. In one incident, it's because of the shipping problem. Nagkaroon po ng problem dun sa port kung saan darating yung mismong election paraphernalia. The other one naman po is because I think it's in Milan, they were supposed to have voting by mail. Ina-expect nila on the first day of the voting, the mail will be there, pero hindi pa po. The mail was actually sent only yesterday. So it's just a matter of one day yung delay ngayon. But we were able to remedy immediately the situation. Yung lahat ng places po na nabanggit nyo from Damascus to New York and Milan, problem solved already, and the election paraphernalia are already received by our post.
Commissioner, so you're saying to those watching us right now, possibly in New York and even in Milan, right now they will be able to cast their votes already. There won't be any problems.
There will be no problem anymore, Ma'am Pinky.
Okay, but they were not told, I guess, no, about the 1 or 2 day delay, the 24 to 48-hour delay. I guess that's the problem.
Yes, ma'am. That may be right, and that's why we are also asking our post, specifically the embassies and the consulate, to inform our kababayans, whatever may be the problem, whatever may be the scenario, to respectfully inform our kababayan through the fastest means possible, especially in social media.
Sana ganun nga, no, Commissioner, what happened, so that they didn't really have to kind of waste their time on a Sunday or even possibly on a Monday. Let's talk about the issue in Hong Kong. There's so many of our kababayans lined up. In fact, I think the Hong Kong police had to kind of intervene because, you know, the situation over there, COVID cases are already going down, but of course, they're still very strict on social distancing and the like. Ano ho ba nangyari dito? Nagkaroon ho ba ng lack of staff, lack of vote counting machines?
The Hong Kong Post was given a discretion as to the number of polling precincts that they were to establish, and they decided to establish 5 polling precincts. However, we have an available 10 vote counting machines in the area, but then the Post said they will be having only 5 voting precincts. However, as of yesterday, the commissioner in charge, Commissioner Marlon Casquejo of the Overseas Absentee Voting Committee, had already instructed that perhaps they can already open 10 precincts already, and they will have to submit the new list of electoral boards to man and to manage the election in the other 5 newly created precincts.
So when will that open, the 5 newly created precincts?
Well, I was informed yesterday that immediately I will be monitoring it today. Immediately they will be opening additional 5, so there will be 10 precincts already for Hong Kong Post, and then I'll try to find out if indeed by today there were already 10 precincts in Hong Kong, in the Hong Kong Post.
And is it 1 VCM per precinct?
Yes, ma'am. That's
I see.
right.
That's why there were 10. That's why there are
Yes,
10
ma'am.
VCMs. Pero nagbukas lang po na precinct ay 5.
Siguro po ang aming understanding, kaya 5 lang muna yung binuksan nila. Number one po, yung reason is because not so many staff of the embassy are there or present. Number one. Number two, because they want additional 5 to be on standby basis in the event that the 5 or one of the 5 VCMs available ay medyo nasira
Hung
o
down.
medyo bigger, back down, kaya may available sila. But they can already open 10 precincts and we will be able to provide them at least other standby vote counting machines.
And let's not forget, Commissioner, this is is it 1 month of overseas absentee voting?
Yes, ma'am. That would be from April 10 to May 9 of this year.
Yeah. But let's say issues, for example, in Hong Kong. I know that our kababayans there have 1 day off and possibly that would be a Sunday. So it is more likely that those who are going to vote will be voting, obviously, on a Sunday on their days off. So do you think that, how many voters do we have there? Is it about 100,000?
It's almost less than 100,000, about 96,000 more or less.
Yeah. And do you feel that if they're just able to vote on weekends, ito pong almost 100,000 will be able to vote and none will be disenfranchised?
That we will guarantee that nobody will be disenfranchised. But however, maybe our Hong Kong post can likewise coordinate with Hong Kong authorities, specifically yung pong pinatigil po kasi nila yung pagboto. Maybe we can coordinate with them. We can guarantee them that health protocols are in place. And at the same time, that we will guarantee that extreme caution will be exercised so that to prevent the spread of COVID-19. So may problem po kasi tayo doon sa bansang yan, especially pinipigilan po kasi ng Hong Kong Police yung pagdami ng sobrang dami ng mga Filipino. But during the first voting day on a Sunday, we were able to have at least less than 4,000 voters to vote. So try to imagine, ma'am, in just a matter of 10 days, in case the same number of people will flock. So more or less we have 40,000. But of course, as you have said, only on a Sunday will there be a lot of Filipinos. So hopefully po, by this Sunday, we will have additional precincts, additional machines, and we can accommodate more. And we can dispatch, we can be able to finish with more voters on that particular Sunday.
Yeah, there's a couple of days before the weekend still for that to happen. And also I wanted to talk to you, Commissioner, about this release of unofficial exit polls. Number one, is this allowed?
Well, under 9006, Republic Act 9006, the Fair Elections Act, exit polls in the same manner as the surveys are allowed. But this is just a caution to our kababayans, to the Filipinos, that exit polls are just polls. These are not the votes themselves on election day. The real votes will be on May 9. So we have to be very careful in just believing on exit polls. We do not know what are the methods used by this kind of pollsters. Baka naman po yung iba yung tanong-tanong lang. Ang problem po kasi natin sa mga exit polls din, pag lumabas, minsan yung botante, tinanong mo sinong binoto mo, si X ang binoto ko, si Y pala yung binoto niya. So it may not be that accurate. That's why we should stick to whoever we wanted to vote. We should not believe on yung mga bali-balita, yung mga marites na ganyan. What we should believe really is in what is on our mind, on our conscience. Vote based on who you decided to vote on election day.
But this is, there won't be a penalty for anyone who may conduct an unofficial exit poll. This is not a violation.
Yes, on our part, ma'am, that's why our task force on contra fake news will likewise investigate on these matters, because we honestly believe that anything that will destroy the credibility of the entire process or the election result will have to be prevented, and we will go after individuals na nagpapakalat ng mga fake news. So kasama po yan. As to what will be the proper case or the violations, we will likewise study that, and the option that we have maybe is prosecution.
And finally, Commissioner, an update on the disqualification cases of presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos. It is already, about 27, if I'm not mistaken, 26 days before Election Day.
Yes, ma'am. As we pointed out two or 3 weeks ago, we said that we will be able to come up with a decision. The earliest, it's the second week of April. We are now on the second week of April,
Right.
and we are still at the timetable. We said that the latest will be the third week of April, which will be by next week. By this week, maybe we cannot be able to release a decision kasi nga po may bakasyonan. But hopefully, and you read my lips, hopefully by next week we will have
After the Holy Week, sir.
hopefully.
Hopefully. Okay. Thank you, Comelec Commissioner George Garcia. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. And coming up, we'll be talking to NDRRMC on the latest on the effects of Tropical Depression Agaton. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned.